Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today CCP has dropped a blog, industry changes coming soon, a major update to manufacturing in New Eden. So I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of the blog itself, but basically the change is significant and I'll drop a link to this in the description if you so wish to read it. But basically I'm just going to get straight into it. So one of the links on the page that I've linked there will give you access to the spreadsheet that we have here. As you can see, there's introduction, contents, and several tables. Now, this change is absolutely gigantic, and it is pretty much going to affect every single ship in New Eden. Now, for the time being, I'm not going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly with this, because there's just so much that I need to digest really at the moment, because yeah, this, as I said, is a huge change. So basically, all in all, we are getting a change. Now we're going to start with the actual ships themselves. So there's a good deal of harmonization in regards to the ship. So you can see here that the frigates themselves, not the frigates, sorry, the haulers here are all going to be costing exactly the same, apart from the odd exception. So from the Badger, so basically all the Tech 1 and Tech 2, is that? Hauler, Badger. Yeah, so all the T1 haulers are going to be costing exactly the same amount of minerals, and this is universal kind of in regards to frigates all the way up to battleships, that instead of at the moment we have a huge range. Back in the day, ship BPOs or the mineral cost was determined by the race, so certain races took more specific minerals than others. So I can't quite recall off the top of my head, I'm not going to bother looking it up, but so for instance, we'll say Minmatar would take more Mexilon than Isogen, and Galanti would take more Isogen than Mexilon. So you had a variation in between the mineral cost per empire, and that was represented in the blueprints, where now that's pretty much gone. As I say, they've kind of harmonized it, so a Bantam will cost exactly the same as a Griffin and all the way through. So from frigates to battle cruiser T1s, you don't need any extra materials whatsoever. However, if you are starting to build the faction frigates, then you will need the extra materials, and these increase with the size of the ship that you're building. So as you can see here, we've got 713-1. At the moment, these BPOs don't exist, and we're not sure what is going to be required to make them. However, what we probably will, the extra expense that will come in here is going out with the minerals, because as I say, they have changed the general cost of minerals, and as far as I can tell, it's generally down, not up. So although the cost of minerals is down, the cost of the extra stuff that's going to require will increase it probably back, and maybe slightly more from where it is, because again, every extra step means people have got to do more work, and these all require moon minerals or PI minerals or a combination of both. So more hauling, more manufacturing to make the same stuff. So again, yeah, that could obviously increase the price. Now, as we get down to the bigger ships, the battleships, then the inputs here change, and you can see we've got 3 extra here. The thing that is interesting is all the ships, other than the Scorpion, which is kind of odd, are going to be exactly the same price for or to build in regards to the mineral input. So a tier. In the past, obviously, the Armageddon was classed as the T1 version, or the first battleship, and then you would go on to the Apocalypse, and the Abaddon would be the Tier 3, and obviously the cost would scale, the Armageddon technically being the smaller than the Apocalypse and then the Abaddon, but these are all going to be costing exactly the same to build, and that will make them exactly the same price to sell, which, again, is slightly boring personally. That will obviously affect market stuff, because again, if they're all going to cost exactly the same to build, then you'll be selling them all at pretty much exactly the same cost, which I don't necessarily like the idea of that, but hey, it is what it is. So if we have a look at the other tables here, this is a change from every single ship from capitals. Capitals are going to be requiring less of some items, more of others, and extra above and beyond. So let's have a look across here. So we've got all these extra bits here. So 5 of them, none of them, none of them, 1 of them, life supports, a whole raft of extra stuff to be included. But again, some of the actual installation components are changing. So again, I can't remember quite what it is, but some of these are lower than what you currently need. So what you're going to be saving or changing in regards to minerals, you'll need in extra components. So again, the prices may be more, they may be slightly less, who knows in the end. It depends obviously on a lot of factors, but this goes all the way up to Titans. So as I said, no ship is spared from this. And you can see here there is a change to the actual build-up of the capital components as well. So again, this is changing. Now I'm going to pick on the capital propulsion engine here, and I've got it on the other screen. So with a perfect BPO currently, to build a capital propulsion unit, you will need 411,000. So that is decreasing to 54,000. Pyrite, currently to build you need just shy of 100,000. That is increasing to 195,000. Mexilon, currently you need 38,000, and that is increasing to 54,000. Isogen, currently you need 9,200, which is increasing to 15,000. Nox, currently you need nigh on 2,000. That is decreasing slightly, or quite a lot. 25%. Zydrin, at the moment you need 544 to build, and that's increasing to 760, and Megasite is increasing from 272 to 380. And then obviously you've got these other items which are going to be needed in order to build the capital components. So we've got the self-harmonizer there, and anything else? Yeah. So a good number of, quite a lot of extra stuff in order to be able to build them. So it's not just T1 components anymore for all this. But what is incredibly interesting here is the sheer drop in titanium, and this is not just for capital parts. So all in all, by the looks of it, titanium is going to be used less in builds. Titanium pretty much across the board has been lessened for pretty much everything from capitals to battleships, cruisers, etc. So the figures here have pretty much been lowered. So that is probably going to have the effect that the price of titanium is going to be cut, because less people, you're going to need less of it. So again, if they keep the current scarcity as it is, which is a very good possibility now that things are changing, I can't see them really reverting it. They may make some asteroids bigger, etc., but again, that's another conversation. But I can see them keeping the minerals where they are. So titanium obviously can be acquired in high sec and can be done in relative safety, high code. So you're going to be paid pretty much peanuts for mining it, which, you know, is going to upset the high sec miners obviously. But all in all, that's pretty much how it should be. If you are able to AFK something and do it in relative safety, then you probably shouldn't be paid a great deal for doing it. And yeah, the Megasite and the other materials, especially Nox, is increasing, and the Zydrin amounts are increasing quite a lot. I think the Nox for the Typhoon here is, for the Tempest is 200% more. That's 75 to 80% more. Zydrin is going up by 100%, and that is by Megasite is going up by 50%. So the harder it is to acquire in regards to space, the more it seems to be going up. So these three items are obviously acquired now in low sec, and they are getting quite an increase, which again will probably increase price, which will force more people, encourage, I should say, more people to go into low sec. These items or minerals can be acquired in null sec. Again, decent amount of is to be made potentially from that, obviously with an increase in demand. And titanium can be acquired in high sec, and I can't quite remember where you get pyrite from, but again, that is increasing quite a lot. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting, and we'll have this is going to have a huge effect on minerals and market prices across the board, because obviously you might not see it initially, but over time it's going to obviously have a huge effect, because titanium is going to be worth pretty much peanuts. It's going to be probably back down to the 2.5 ISK per unit, and yeah, it's basically going to be almost worthless. Now, obviously, at the moment, we've obviously got stockpiles and other stuff that we're working on with scarcity and this, that, and the other. But over time, yeah, I can see these three going up, these two staying roughly the same, and this decreasing massively. Pyrite is a bit of I'm unsure at the moment where this is going to go, but so it has been noticed as well that the skills are also increasing. So the new items that you'll need in order to build battleships and faction ships, as well as capitals, will require quite a lot of skills, really. So we can see here that we now need level 5 skills for to build these items, and that is in the numerous categories here, but you can see here for the enhanced neuro link, we need advanced industry 5, nanite engineering 5, electronic engineering 5, mechanical engineering 5, and molecular engineering 5. Now, these are a rank 5 skill, and with perfect attributes in intelligence and memory, it will take you roughly 16.5 days to train one of these. So that is a substantial amount of training that you're going to need in order to be able to produce one of these. Now, good, bad, I'm not going to get into that at the moment. And again, for some of these, we now need reactions level 5, which is quite an increase. So yeah, there is a massive increase in skills for the high-end stuff. So one of the things is quite nice here is the increase in PI stuff that we will need in order to build these as well, which will give obviously quite a boost to anybody that does PI at the moment. PI has been down in the dumps since the change to stations, and it's been steadily increasing actually over the last couple of months, but it was rock bottom after the changes. And you can see here items needed, and we also have I believe that is wormhole stuff. That's definitely wormhole. So you'll need a whole combination of people doing PI, wormhole, and mining in order to be able to build these items as well. So, and again, moon goo, so moon goo as well. So you're going to need everybody involved in one way or another, and I quite like that. I like the integratedness of what it all comes down to. So it's going to be very hard to do it all yourself, because again, you're going to need to be able to do everything, and that obviously takes a lot of doing. So with that, I think we'll round up the video there. Again, I've still got huge amounts of information to pour over here. This change, as I said, will affect pretty much every player-made ship in the game, barring none. So there's lots of this is the single biggest change that I can think of that has happened to industry since industry was basically put in the game, and that is very exciting. You know, change is good, change brings opportunity, opportunity means ISK, and as an industrialist that likes to build stuff and sell stuff, that can only be a good thing. So, again, if you've got any comments, thoughts, or general opinions on whether, you're happy to see this, whether you're a bit nervous, whether, what it's going to mean for you, really, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts and opinions. So, thanks for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.